Hey there, it's Michael Leckie with Career Ask Me Anything. Usually it's Career Ask Us Anything with Mark Bowden. Mark's traveling this week, but we wanted to take the opportunity to respond to some kind of major political events happening. Lately, we've got a lot of great response from you on how we've looked at what's happening in current politics, especially in the United States, and have related that to what's actually in the United States and the UK recently, but look at that and how it's related to what actually happens in business and leadership and in organizations. And so one of the questions that popped up was, what communication strategies should Kamala Harris adopt to introduce herself to voters who may not be as familiar with her background and accomplishments? Her background and accomplishments, not Joe Biden's. So as most of you will know, Joe Biden, the current sitting president of the U.S., has stepped aside, not from abdicating the role of the presidency, he'll see it out, but he has stepped aside from the campaign to be reelected. He has nominated his vice president, Kamala Harris, to take his place, and we will see if she is given the endorsement by the Democratic Party and stands as the person competing with Donald Trump for the next presidency of the United States. And so what communication strategies should she introduce herself to voters with? Now, this really relates to leadership. And when you step into a leadership position and you've been under that leader, how do you differentiate yourself? I've met a lot of people that say, I want to differentiate myself immediately. And I've met some that say, well, I don't want to disrespect the person who came behind. And as I'm starting to put myself forward for the job, I'm working with a client who is being considered for a senior role. And they're already currently working for that senior leader. And they want to make sure that they are honoring that person, but also saying who they are. That's a really interesting thing, because it's got your feelings about you and what you stand for, and it's got the feelings of the person that you're working for. Now, Joe Biden has said he's going to step aside, but nonetheless, there's a lot of people that have been supporting him and standing with him for years, including the last 4 especially, who are going to want to see, how does she align to him? And there's others who are going to want to see, how does she differentiate? In fact, I would assume that to get elected, that she is going to need to both align and differentiate. So what are the communication strategies then to align and differentiate? Well, you probably know this, listening to me in the past. I'm going to say it's pretty simple. You have to align and you have to differentiate. So you have to embrace both of those. So first of all, what are the things that she thinks that matters most that she wants to align with? What is the legacy she wants to honor that she's carrying on? She needs to talk about that, the things that are important to and popular with current Biden voters who are going to vote for Biden no matter what. You want to talk to the Biden base and tell them how you're a part of the Biden story. And she has been very clearly, and she'll have lots of evidence of the things that she's done and the places that she focused and the direction she took from President Joe Biden during the 3.5 years that they've been in office together. The next thing she has to do is differentiate. And it's not a, here's how I'm not him, it's here's who else I am. What else do I bring? I think she's going to embrace a communication strategy that says, I am all of these things that he is that really matter to you, especially in his base and core voters. And I am some other things that may matter to some of you who are undecided or unsure as well. Because let's be clear, in the United States, generally what happens, and I'm not trying to take a political stand here, generally what happens is the popular vote always goes to the Democrat, but the Republican still can win because of the way our electoral system is set up and the way that our country has been gerrymandered and the way voting maps have been created and all the complicated things that go into our voting. It's not really a democratic system. It's a representational system. It's not like every vote counts as one vote. Every vote counts as a vote within a space, within this space, within that space. And so who decides election are not the vast majority of people. It is the few people in the middle who are undecided. That's who decides an election in the United States. I think, unfortunately, but that's who decides an election in the United States. And so she's going to have to appeal to those people. This is analogous to coming into an organization and having to appeal to the people who are undecided or on the fence about the previous leader and his or her leadership. So what do you think those people need that they've been missing? What do they need that no one else has been giving them? What do they need in this case for her that Donald Trump and Joe Biden haven't been giving them and probably won't? In an organization, what do you need to give them that they've been asking for that their current leader hasn't provided? That's the differentiation piece that you need. Now, I don't know what her differentiation areas are. I can make a guess at a few, but it would probably be kind of silly for me to do so. We're going to have to wait and see what she does. But I think that you're going to see a couple of things. One, I think you're going to see her aligned to Joe Biden. Two, I think you're going to see her differentiate in some things that she thinks these are also really important. And I think particularly in this election, and this is a little different because generally you're not competing directly for a group to elect you to a CEO role. But I think in this election, she's going to have to appeal to one of the things that Joe Biden was criticized for. He was criticized for not being ready and on the top of his game to debate, take on, and forcibly push back on Donald Trump. I think that that's where you're going to see Kamala Harris really stand forward, is she's going to stand toe to toe and eye to eye. She's a former prosecutor. She is a strong, outspoken, smart woman of color. Whatever else you want to think about her, those facts are really hard to debate, and she is going to be formidable. She's been formidable in a courtroom. She's been formidable before the camera, even as taking a second seat to Joe Biden. I think she's going to be formidable now about who she is and what she brings, and about the message she thinks is going to resonate not only with the base of her Democratic supporters, but with the people in the middle who are looking for something different. And let's remember, there's a lot of theories as to why. But one of the things that Donald Trump got elected on, and one thing that his supporters still really like, is he's different. Well, we've had 8+ years of Donald Trump as a president and as a failed presidential candidate. We've had a lot of Trump. How different is he anymore? And so that thing that made him different may not make him so different anymore. And that may be what gives her the advantage. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens in my home country, the United States. But I hope that was useful, interesting to you as we look about that. And I said, look at it for any type of leader in an organization. It's about both, resonating with and differentiating from, or aligning with and differentiating from. Think about those as your communication messages when you are standing in or assuming a new leadership role. I'm Michael Leckie for the Career Ask Me Anything, or Ask Us Anything, with my partner Mark Bowden. Mark's traveling today, so I'm doing this week. If you have any comments or additional questions, especially, we'd love your new, fresh questions, whether they have a base in politics or not. This is just kind of something we're doing during this season. Ask those questions by putting it in the comments in whatever medium you're watching this video, or simply go to my website, michaelleckie.com/ask, and there's a form there. You can ask us your career AMA questions, and we'll be happy to address them in the very near future. Thanks, and have a great day.